Good morning. Welcome to the April 29th meeting of the Facilities Committee. Mr. Helms and Mrs. Merrill are on the phone, and so we have all four members. I call this meeting to order, and I need a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
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 Aye. The first item on the agenda is the meeting minutes of March 24th.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
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 Aye, 4-0. Thank you very much. The next item is the Weddington Middle School flooring bids. Mr. Burnett.
Yes, I'm going to go through these quickly. Please stop me with any questions that you have. This was bid on April 13th. Bonnets Incorporated submitted the parent load bid at $178,600. And staff requests the board award the bid as provided by Bonnets in the amount of $178,600.
Have we used bonnets before?
Many times, yes.
Okay. And I have a question. On the CCD is the number of days to complete it.
Yes.
Is it worthwhile? I mean, the bids are very close. Are we allowed to make decisions based on how quickly they could get it done?
We could. In this particular case, we do expect that it will happen over the summer, and
Okay.
we don't anticipate an issue.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions? If not,
No.
I need a motion to recommend to the board the bid from Bonnets Inc. in the amount of $178,600.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 4-0. Thank you very much. Next is Sardis Elementary painting bids.
Now, this project bid on April 16th. We had three bidders: Peterson Painting and Construction submitted the parent load bid. So staff is requesting the board award the bid as provided by Peterson Painting and Construction in the amount of $103,400. And we have used Peterson before and are happy with them.
Okay. Thank you. And that's under budget as well.
Yes.
Okay. If there's no other question, or if there's no questions, I need a motion to recommend to the full board the bid by Peterson Painting and Construction in the amount of $103,400.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 4-0. Thank you. Next is the Waxhaw Elementary School painting bids. Is this going to be a problem with them doing the floors too?
That will be coordinated.
Okay.
This project bid April 15th, had three contractors submit bids. Universal Contractors Incorporated submitted the low bid. Staff is requesting the board award the bid as provided by Universal Contractors Inc. in the amount of $110,000. And we've used Universal Contractors in the past, and we're happy with their performance.
Okay. There's no questions. I need a motion to recommend to the full board the bid from Universal Contractors in the amount of $110,000.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Next up is the East Elementary painting bids.
This project was bid on April 16th. Three contractors submitting bids. Peterson Painting and Construction submitted the apparent low bid. And let me note that we understand that you may have some questions or hesitation with this particular recommendation. Staff is recommending the board award to Peterson Painting and Construction in the amount of $102,300. Of note is that this project, this school, we hope will be replaced in as quickly as 2.5 years if we do get construction funding for it. But there is no guarantee that we will get that. We have taken that into consideration with this recommendation. We are recommending that we do paint east, just so that in the meantime, that it is a good representation of Union County Public Schools. But should you have questions, we certainly understand, and we're happy to entertain and talk about it.
There's no questions. I need a motion to recommend to the full board the bid from Peterson Painting and Construction in the amount of $102,300.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 4-0, thank you. CATA Athletics Design Contract Approval.
CPL has provided a fee of $104,000. This is an approved 2021 CIP project. Has an overall budget of $1.1 million. Staff is requesting the Board of Education approve entering into contract with CPL for the design of the project at the proposed fee of $104,000.
So the design phase is always about 10% or 1%, 10% of the project. Is that typical?
It's in that range,
Okay.
yes. And this particular design fee also includes surveying, which is usually not included in that. So that is why we thought that this was worthy recommendation.
Have we used CPL before?
We have. They did Monroe High School's turf and track replacement.
Okay. If there's no other questions, I need a motion to recommend to the board a contract with CPL at the proposed fees of $104,000 for the project scope of work at CATA.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 4-0, thank you. Next is Sun Valley High School bond change orders.
Yes, this is a bond/CIP funded project. We have a change order in the amount of $70,241.79. It's for a variety of items. And this is within the budget, the CIP, the remaining funds. Was budgeted at $1,798,500. This would have, we project a balance of $1,581,456. So staff is requesting the board approve the change order in the amount of $70,241.79.
There's no questions. I'll entertain a motion to recommend to the full board the change order in the aggregate amount of $70,241.79.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
4-0.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Next is Marvin Ridge High School, Mr. Umbernet.
And this is an item where we are seeking basically the temperature on this. Marvin Ridge High School and their booster club is seeking to fund improvements to the stadium field to include transitioning to a synthetic turf field. They have received a quote of $651,000. That's one quote from a particular company, Hellas Construction, Inc., out of Austin, Texas. If the committee agrees with the school's pursuit of synthetic surface, staff will then pursue the many legal, financial, engineering, and management issues that we feel need to be resolved. We'll make that effort if the committee feels that this is a pursuit that they want to undertake. I'm sure you may have questions, and I'm happy to try to answer, and Mark Strickland also can help answer as well.
One of the questions that we have is what happens in the 8 years to replace the turf, right?
I don't think anything that has been submitted to this point contemplates the replacement of the field and who would be financially responsible for it.
And what about the amount the booster club has in quote? Is that all encompassing with what needs to be done for
It's a great question, and that goes to the engineering aspects that we would want to pursue. We saw no mention of storm drainage accommodations, and we do feel that that is a significant issue that needs to be included in this project. And so we would determine whether that is included or not, and if it's not, we could also provide an estimate on what that might cost. But that would need to be included in the project.
Our stance is that if this project were to move forward, we would need to treat it much like any other CIP project. We would need to participate in and have input in the design. Dave mentioned the engineering and the management issues of putting the project in. So again, we would treat it as a CIP project if we move forward.
They would give us the money. The Booster Club would give us the money, and then we would.
That's what we would be seeking. And so, yeah, the financial arrangements do need to be pursued. How's that look? How's that work? What opportunities does the Booster Club actually have?
I think the big issue is what do we do with replacement costs, down the road? That is the big issue. We could certainly handle on our end the installation and coordinating all of the work, but once the field is in, there would be other things to consider.
So can we get a better idea of how much the total cost would be, including the storm irrigation and things like that? So, and whether or not Marvin, well, I guess it doesn't, whether or not Marvin Ridge can pay that.
Well, we were expecting a ballpark cost in the neighborhood of $1 million to $1.1 million. But again, specification is key to that. And again, the other items such as storm drainage. So those items would be included in what we would expect the cost to come in at. And when I mentioned specification, we certainly would want the field to be multi-purpose. So it would be football, it would be soccer, things like that. And the spec can help drive that.
Hey, what's the actual maintenance during the year on the synthetic turf?
Maintenance on, he's asking what the
sorry.
maintenance is on
Yes. So annual maintenance for a grass football field is in the neighborhood of $10,000 to $20,000 a year.
He's asking about synthetic.
Synthetic.
So we don't have a number on that. We do have the field at Monroe High School. We haven't been a participant, in that maintenance cost or maintenance activities. There are maintenance items that do need to be done. However, it certainly is much less than it is for a field. If you look at a grass field, you've got the striping of the field, you've got the spraying, the irrigation, which is a district cost. And so there are, it certainly is cheaper to maintain the synthetic turf, not counting the replacement cost. The replacement cost will far exceed the annual cost of a grass field.
And Mr. Burnett, the replacement cost in approximately 8 years is how much?
We'd say between $400,000 and $500,000 at today's dollars.
So, and whose responsibility would it be, to replace, if we were to approve this, whose responsibility would it be to replace the field when the life cycle is up?
We would say that that's on the table.
What do you mean on the table?
Well, that's a negotiation that we feel would need to occur. If the district wants to pay that, that's a significant cost. I think most people would be leaning towards Marvin Ridge paying for the replacement costs, but that is a discussion and a negotiation that has yet to happen.
So they already knew that. Okay, so I'm confused. So I thought this was a donation, and when the district and the board accepts a donation, I thought it became Union County Public School property, and our burden to maintain and replace. Am I wrong?
Typically, it does. No, you are correct. Our concern is, while the proposed plan is great initially, we have some concern down the road with the replacement costs. And so there have not been any conversations with the booster club essentially about those replacement costs. And you make a good point, and we want the board, we want the committee to be aware of that even though this would be a nice addition, there are costs associated with it. And if they end up in our lap, we need to recognize that. One option we could pursue is to go back to the booster club and share with them some of the things that have been discussed this morning and see if there's any movement or inclination on their part to offer up the replacement cost down the road. That's something we can pursue.
I think that would be a great idea.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, that sounds great.
Okay. So we will table that for more information.
The next item on the agenda is the bond fund sales tax reimbursement for the bond project.
I keep forgetting. Sorry.
I'm going to start with the last sentence, and then we'll and then have the discussion. Staff, this request is going to have to go to the Board of County Commissioners for approval. So we'll start with the sales tax refund received from Union County for the bond projects is $465,580. Combine that with what is currently available from the 2016 bond at $570,918. Combined, that's $1,036,498. We have proposed several projects, and that is certainly willing to and happy to discuss. And if you all have other ideas, of course, we'll put those down. The items that we were proposing was transportation facility, that the remaining areas be paved. We did pull out.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that again? All I heard was station.
He said that the transportation.
Transportation paving project for the unpaved areas of our new transportation. Right. That would be.
Okay. Thank you. I'm just having a little bit of trouble hearing Dave.
He's a little bit far away, so.
I moved it close.
Transportation, I got you.
Okay, and then the other items would be off of our CIP, current CIP. So the paving of the rest of the facility, transportation facility would be 529. And then the other items are currently in our CIP, but for the schools that were in the bond, if we could move those, that would take some of the money out of our CIP and move it here. It would be the Monroe High canopy project that we talked about at the last meeting for $288,750, the Western Union bleacher replacement at $105, and the Piedmont High School track expansion design project at $78,750.
Gotcha. Thank you, Kathy.
Sorry.
Oh, no, thank you very much.
Okay, no problem. So that would be you're recommended to us. So does anyone have, and I like the idea of moving some of our projects off the CIP and doing them with the remaining bond projects, as long as they're the schools that were in the bond. And, transportation facilities, this would be the only opportunity that we could actually do paving, right? Because we wouldn't want to put it out there in the future.
Agree.
So I think these are good ideas. Anybody else?
So,
Okay, go ahead.
I think it's a great idea, and I would make a motion to recommend the sales tax reimbursement for the remaining bond funds to be taken to the full board at our May meeting.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Awesome. So the only thing that for the Board of Education, Dave, can you add on there that we need it to go to the county for approval, just so everybody knows that? Okay, thank you. Next is the approval of the CIP so that we can send it to the Finance Committee to include in the budget. So we're at 16,900 this right now. 16,990, 652. Last year we are at about 16,300. I would like to get it to that number if we could do it, but we already took off the Monroe High School canopy, the Western Union bleachers, and the Piedmont track thing, and that adds up to, I should have looked at that for, what is it? Oh, it is? Thank you. So that takes it down to 16,518, 152. So if we could just get it down to the 16,300 like we had last year, that would be awesome. And I guess just looking at some stuff that we added, I was thinking of the Weddington High flooring for 441. Or the Hemby Bridge stone drainage improvements for 400,000. Dave, do you have any?
Staff have any recommendations?
Yeah, I just
think
asked
we're
him.
just passing.
Yeah, do you have any recommendations?
Well, I was just going to mention, that's going to take you down to 16,100. But
That's okay.
I had a couple.
I know that Hemby Bridge does have
Problems with storm drainage, yep.
problems, and they have athletic fields out there with Porter Ridge Athletic Booster Club, and so I just don't know how critical that is or isn't. If Dave could tell us.
Yeah. I mean, what about the Weddington High flooring?
It is a need. But certainly we can either pull back on that need or push it a year. I don't know that there's a.
Do you have any other
issue with that.
suggestions?
Well, one thing that we did want to also mention again is Antioch Elementary School and the need to add a mobile there at $30,000. We mentioned that last month, and it didn't really get any other discussion. So I just wanted to remind you that was
Okay.
a request.
So let's add the $30,000 for the mobile unit for Antioch. But what's your recommendation for one project to come off?
Well, one of the ones, and truly, I did this last night and didn't get to talk with staff, but I was looking at the Prospect canopies that, it's been like that for many years, and that could be something that could be pushed off at $131,000. The Monroe High School tennis courts at $42,000. That's just a resurfacing. We do have tennis courts in there for Weddington High School, just for reference, and that was kind of rebuilding those courts. So just FYI that there were multiple tennis court projects. To cut the
I have
high
a
school.
question. Considering all of the conversations we're having around Forest Hills, is there any item or items under Forest Hills that we could just postpone for a year until we know more about, a bond?
Those are little. So it's about $140,000 of stuff that they have this year. It's
I was just wondering, is it or I'm 100,000. I know it's not a lot.
right.
Do we need to invest 100,000?
Well, Forest Hills is still going to exist as East Union, so anything we do will be okay, right?
Yes, and those items.
I know they're still going to exist. I just didn't know if we could put it off.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
I had an idea. What about Waxa Elementary? We had added in on top of the bathroom project to replace the flooring building wide. And then you were saying we're going to have to try to juggle because we're painting Waxa Elementary. So what if we put off the flooring And then maybe that'll help the juggling of getting all the painting done. Because
I think that's a great suggestion.
It's 200,000.
Okay, I'm good with that. Is everybody good with that?
Yep, I'm good with that.
Okay, so we're gonna add
They're not
the,
gonna bang up the walls after they paint, are they?
What did you say?
Are they
Chances of
gonna-
that happening, is there?
are they going to wreck the walls when they put the flooring in?
No.
No, he said no. We have that
Okay.
4-inch thing that goes around the bottom, right?
The baseboard?
Yeah, the baseboard. Well, it's plastic, isn't it?
So the flooring was $204,750, and that's the VCT replacement and possibly carpet. There's another item that was replacement flooring and wall tile in the original restrooms. And just wanted to make sure whether you're talking about both or not.
She's just talking about the flooring.
Well, because we added in, the restrooms had been there like for a while, and then last meeting, I think we added in the flooring.
Yeah.
So I just thought since that's like a last minute add in, maybe that, but whatever, what do you think?
Well, actually, I mean, the numbers work well if you did Waxhaw because it's 16.5 million. If you subtract 2 million, you're at 16.3.
I have a question just for clarification. Under prospect, what exactly are we doing to fire hydrants for $118,000? Does the county or do they not supply fire hydrants?
This is
Or we have
So, yeah, we have one fire hydrant at the school. It's on the highway
it's
side.
plural, it says multiple.
Right. We would like to have a loop that goes around the building with fire hydrants on it. Kind of a typical thing that you would do if you're building a new
Okay.
school. This is an older school. It just has the one fire hydrant.
Okay. It was very curious to me.
Could you give any insurance savings with having a loop?
If we did, it would be very minor. I don't know that you would see it.
So if there's no other, can we have a motion to send the CIP to the Finance Committee, adding $30,000 for an MCR at Antioch and moving to next year, the Waxhaw replace flooring building wide $204,750.
So moved.
Is Waxhaw the only one we've eliminated or?
Yes, that's it. And we also pulled off the Monroe, the stuff that went with the bond. So that's Monroe High will come off the canopy, the Piedmont High, the design of the new track, and the Western Union replace bleachers. Those will come off the CIP as well.
Yep, I got those.
Okay. Yep, that's it. Just one project. Yep.
Okay, so what's the bottom number with those changes?
You just had it up, 16.331 million.
I'm not on Zoom, so all I can do is hear.
16.331 million.
Oh no, I was just letting you know I couldn't see what was on the
Oh, I'm
screen.
sorry. That wasn't so good of me. 16.331, so we're close.
I'm auditory at this point.
Sorry. Okay, so we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
And all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, thank you. Next up is the Stallings Elementary. This is the, Dave can talk about it. It's a temporary construction easement.
This is would be a permanent sewer easement, permanent utility easement, and
Oh, I
a
have the wrong
temporary
one.
construction easement.
Nope. TCE temp.
This is an item that has been to the committee several times before. Broad Street Homes Incorporated is seeking an agreement, basically an agree to agree agreement with the board for the board to convey easements to Union County Public Works for the construction and maintenance of a public sewer line. The sewer line would traverse the campus at Stallings Elementary School. It would go behind the school, would be at the bus parking lot, behind the bus parking lot, and then go along the property line and connect to public sewer. At
So,
the
Jay, can you
last,
speak to any update on Union County Public Works on this project?
yes, at the last committee meeting, you all had asked a couple items, and that was for the town of Stallings to confirm the status of the proposed 222 single-family unit Stallings Farms subdivision, and that's located immediately south of the school, and that is pending approval. The Union County Public Works, you had also asked about how that subdivision would be served for sewer, and Union County Public Works provided a sketch that showed that the sewer that would serve that is existing. That is to the south and to the west of that proposed subdivision. That would not be accessible for the Broad Street Homes subdivision.
That would not be accessible?
No.
I'm having trouble hearing him.
Yeah, that would not be accessible. What the committee was hoping was that, hey, how's that new subdivision being served? Is it something that there's a new sewer line that's going to be constructed, and maybe this Broad Street Homes development, the 40-unit Sawmill Run subdivision, could tie into that new line. But in this particular case, the response is that they're going to be utilizing existing sewer lines.
And there wasn't anything on the other corners that Stallings said is in somewhat of a progress?
So this Stallings Farms subdivision does consume two of the corners.
But they'll just connect across the street from their own.
That's right. So the sewer line that serves Stallings Elementary School actually runs south from the school, and it's going to go right through the subdivision, the Stallings Farm subdivision. It goes right through it. So that's where they will tie on. And once it gets below the subdivision, it does turn, I believe it turns east. And I don't know how far east it goes, but the subdivision would still be able to connect there as well. So, they're in a good position for utilizing existing sewer. And again, we're talking about the Stallings Farm subdivision and not the Sawmill Run subdivision.
Where's the
Not the
Sawmill?
Broad Street project.
Right. The Sawmill Run is the Broad Street Homes subdivision.
Mhm. So the other developments have a way to tie on, but the Sawmill project does not have a way to tie on other than the approved plan that Union County Public Works signed off and sent to us in this request.
The Stallings Farm subdivision does have access to the existing sewer. The Sawmill Run subdivision is seeking to come across the Stallings Elementary School project site to tie into existing sewer where we tie onto existing sewer.
So I will make a motion to send to the full board the recommendation to the Stallings Elementary Sewer Easement Project at the May meeting.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 2. So it's 2-2. Is this something, throw it out there. Do you want this to go, it didn't pass out of, it's not recommended from the facilities. Is this something you'd like to take to the full board?
Yes, I'll put it on the agenda for the May meeting, and it will just require a motion and a second since it did not survive committee.
Yep.
And I'll need staff there to present it.
Okay. Next. Painting status. The rest is just for our information. The painting status information is there if anybody
And I have
has.
to hop off.
Okay, thanks, Matt.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
We did want to get a temperature on the,
Yeah, that, I'm getting there. Painting status, does anyone have any questions? Okay, the next is the Stallings Elementary temporary construction easement. Mr. Burnett.
Gateway Stallings LLC is pursuing residential development across from, actually, let me clarify this because in my memo I said across from Stevens Mill Road, and it is, but it is actually across from the highway, but adjacent to the county line. So it's about a half a mile away from Stallings Elementary School. They are pursuing, they're pursuing their development. They did receive the requirement that that they improve Stallings Road at the school, and this is a requirement from NCDOT. What they're required to do is to provide larger medians, and that actually helps. It's a benefit to the school.
It is a benefit.
It would be a benefit to the school. What they would need from us is a temporary construction easement. So nothing permanent, no expansion of the right of way, no permanent utility easements. They are seeking a temporary construction easement that would allow them to construct the road widening. And then that would go away. And
So what's the temporary construction easement is just to put construction equipment on the prop, or would it?
yeah, it would allow them to get on the edge of the property, as they widen the road.
But none of our land is being taken.
Right. I mean, it's all within the right of way.
No permanent.
What's the timeline on them doing this? Is that on here?
Yeah, they said they're going to do it in the summer of 2022.
Yeah, thank you.
But that would have to be a hard thing, that it has to be done in summer.
That's right.
Okay. If we were to approve it, sorry.
So this item is currently informational. Should the committee not object to the concept at this point, staff will pursue any necessary steps and bring back any follow-up information required for board approval. That would include possibly a monetary amount for a temporary construction easement, and any other details as far as actual meets and bounds for the intended area.
Is there any objections? No? Okay.
Yes, it's just for information, so I don't know that we have a say.
Well, he says he wanted to, if we were against it, he wasn't going to,
Oh, I got you.
yeah. So
So we can do an action?
I don't think we need an action. I think we just need to tell him if there's any issues that we have with it.
I don't have any issues with it.
Okay. Next is the Rocky River Elementary School sewer easement.
And this is the same type of item. It is taking the temperature, from the committee. So it's informational. Should the committee not object to the concept at this point, staff will pursue any necessary steps, which would include, again, meets and bounds of the intended sewer easement. This would be a permanent sewer easement and a temporary construction easement. So the deal on this is the developer is planning a mixed-use development. It's called the Village at Rocky River West. It's located at the northwest corner of the intersection of Weddington Road and Rocky River Road. It's on the opposite side of the street as Rocky River Elementary School. And again, it's to the temperature of the board. Is this something that you're
Temperature
interested
of the
in pursuing
committee.
or not?
I'm a no, but anybody else?
Yeah, I don't love this at all. It would take out that entire row of trees, wouldn't it?
So I'm glad you mentioned that. And this actually was before your time. So there is a storm drainage easement, that is on our property. There are multiple. And as the trees actually are going to be going away. It was an issue for us, especially with snow and ice, that area of the parking lot of Rocky River Elementary School stays snow covered and frozen, and it's really very tough to deal with when we have those events. And the reason that it just doesn't go anywhere because of the shade. It's permanent. They're pine trees, so we don't get any winter benefit of leaves falling off trees. So we did want the trees to go away. And from a previous board action, they're already going to be going away.
Anything else?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it, Dave.
Up or down?
It's 2-1, but Matt's not here, so
Oh, Matt left.
I guess I would, if I were you, I'd look
It
into.
was a vote. We didn't vote on the other two items. I thought he was just taking the temperature.
I wasn't voting. I was just saying that 2 of us didn't like the idea and 1 was okay with it. But if Matt was here, it would be. So if I were you, I'd continue to pursue it.
I just thought he was taking the temperature, so I thought I would speak. Since you and Sarah spoke, I thought I would just give my temperature.
No, I know. We wanted everybody's temperature. I guess I was just saying it wasn't a vote. I was just no. Next is acoustics.
Any questions for this item?
No, this was just an FYI. Construction update. Does anyone have any questions?
I would like to hear Mr. Umbernet give us some information on acoustics.
I'd be happy to. So at the April 13th Board of Education meeting, it was requested that we look into the acoustics designs for Piedmont High School and Monroe High School auditoriums. We did that, and what we learned is that both firms did utilize in-house acoustical design expertise. And for Piedmont, they did tap into an extra resource as a check to some firm that is a manufacturer, actually manufacturer's rep with experience in acoustical design. They ran it through it. They provided some minor comments that the architect did incorporate. So the answer to the question was, the question posed was this merely aesthetics, or was this for acoustics? And the answer is it was for acoustics.
So I really appreciate you looking into that to get it on record that they did have someone on staff that they did look into this for those 2 schools, because they do look absolutely beautiful. So so I really appreciate you and your team confirming that. Given this information and the budget with acoustic expertise, the budgets for Monroe and the budgets for Piedmont, does that help you? Does that help you or facilities see what it costs to do Piedmont and Monroe to know if the other bid was too high or appropriate?
So we didn't have the ability to break down the actual acoustical measures at both schools. But as far as the Sun Valley, which was the originating, I guess, issue, on this, that price was reviewed and found to be consistent. And on that, and you all have approved that change order, and we continue to try to get that whittled down, whenever and wherever we possibly can. So we are continuing to work on that.
So the issue with Sun Valley's change order, it's not really a change order, was because it wasn't in the project's scope to begin with, right? Where Monroe High Schools and Piedmont High Schools were in the original scope. So that's why it was outside of the rest of the projects, correct? Okay.
Right.
Yes, yeah, I remember all of that.
No, I was just confirming for myself.
Yeah, and
speaking just for myself, I was a little startled at the price for the for that. We'll call it a change order or whatever we want to call it. I think it was the cost for the acoustics that was kind of alarming, and so I didn't know if now that we know that the cost for Piedmont and Monroe did include acoustics, how does that price for those two schools with acoustics compare to that number for Sun Valley that, at the time appeared high?
Right. And the challenge with it, with the benefit of a change order, is that you do get to see what the electrical, the mechanical, the painting, all the disciplines involved, what those costs are. The difficulty with the base bid at Monroe High School or Piedmont is that I might be able to get a line item that says electrical, and it may, I don't think it broke it down by area, but it doesn't break it down to be able to say that this is electrical that's in the auditorium that's dealing with moving lighting because of the acoustical panels that are coming in. So all those conflicts, all those interferences, all those changes that are made, that are related to the acoustics are not broken out that way. So mechanical is the same way. And so that's the challenge, with it. I did see a acoustical panel cost, but that's simply material. It's not including anything else that's associated with that. And so that's the challenge, and that's the difficulty, and that's why I don't have a number for you.
Okay, so we just don't know. Okay, thank you.
Next is the construction.
Excuse me. Next is the construction update. Does anyone have any questions with that?
I do not.
Okay. Next is the change order update. Any questions there? No. Surplus is just an FYI, and building and zoning permits are just FYIs. So our next meeting date is May 20th at 9 a.m. at the PDC. Does anyone have anything else? If not, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved. Second.
Thanks. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.